start that recording and start
I've got one.
that stream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Horsin Around, a dumbass cast. I'm your host, as always, Nick Mercadante, and with me today I have three lovely guests, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
I'm the Northwest Territories, a province in Northwest Canada.
I am Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And it's me, Dr. Anthony Stephen Fauci. Chief
Wow!
Chief
Mr.
Medical
Fauci,
Advisor.
do you think that we're going to see a new variant emerge from the emo concert?
Yeah,
that's
I'm really
happening in
excited for
October?
the Ligma variant to come out.
I completely forgot about that. For whatever reason, when you
I
said
wanna talk
we
about
should
it.
go on a trip,
Oh, we're going to talk
my-
about it because I'm
my
planning
brain-
on going to it.
Thank
My
fucking
brain
God.
didn't think
Is it-
about it, and
are
then
you-
Jack literally complained about it later, and I was like, "Why
Yeah,
did I get
literally,
tricked
like,
by
yesterday or
Murky?
something.
Why did I almost get tricked? I didn't
Yeah,
say anything in the group chat, so I'm
Murky,
still absolved. But I was
Are
like,
you
I don't know,
are you
I could be
going
down for a trip like that.
Yes,
And then I was like, oh wait, actually no, I want to live.
right?
myself and some
Are you
friends
going
are...
purely for the investigative journalism aspect of it,
No.
or are you actually going to try and
No,
enjoy
I
it?
fucking-
Because I don't
yeah,
think
He's
you'll
I'm
have a
gonna
good
wear
time.
his Andrew Callahan costume.
God,
Did you know-
maybe I should. Maybe I
Did you
should.
know that there-
He's gotta be there.
That's true. And I want to be... Dude, if I wear my Andrew Callahan
be
costume and then
advanced.
meet him there, that would be fucking insane. Oh
you know
my
that-
god.
Did you know that bands, Nick? Did you know that bands go on tour and that you don't actually need to go to COVID hotspots and you can stay in the relative safety of the Northeast?
Hey, did you know that bands haven't been touring for the last 2 years because of that COVID disease thing that's been going around for
Wrong.
the past year
Billy
plus?
Strings has been touring nonstop, coward.
Well, that's because he's got to use that John Deere. Contractually, he's got to use the John Deere, or else the devil takes his soul. That's how it works. Billy Springs went
Some
down to
labor
Georgia
pitch on it.
Listen,
and won a golden John Deere off the devil. That's what the song's about, right?
that's
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
what Billy Strings sings, you know? He just that's a song that he's known for.
That's
The
accurate.
devil went
Look,
down to
Nick,
Georgia.
here's my hot tip. I don't
Yeah.
know if you're gonna know this,
Yeah.
but there is a high likelihood
Yeah.
that things get really bad,
Yeah.
and then all of those musical bands, you go, I can't wait to see my favorite bands on the big stage, and then they go, I don't want to die of COVID, and then they leave, and you go, who's left? And you're like,
What?
Korn? All right.
Except Korn's
Counter-
can you?
counterpoint.
All right, no, you can't
Counterpoint.
just fucking
Bands
say that
dropping
Korn's
out
gonna
might
be there.
make it a
They're
good
not.
festival.
This is not a
Yeah.
fucking Korn
And
level festival. All right.
as it stands
If
right now,
enough bands drop out, you might get enough time to actually like listen to one band for more
Yeah,
than
that's the
15
other
minutes.
thing. Like, I'm
That
gonna,
might be
I'm gonna
true.
Because
throw up
literally-
the
But then
the
he's going
picture
to
of the
die.
post
So I hope
on-
that greater amount of band time is like he's like, this is my
a
favorite
small
band.
price to play.
So
a small price
literally,
to pay
there
if
are
you're welcome to the
60
Black
plus
Parade
bands
Live.
performing over 12
It's
hours.
65.
Simply-
65.
It's a good thing that there's no highly contagious disease that
Yeah,
has
that
wiped
would
out
be
entire
weird.
industries of people who go on stage.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Yeah,
not
good
like
thing there's
Listen,
nothing
I should
like
learn
that.
enough. It's not like
I
it's
deserve
so
this
fun
shit,
watching.
But I am going to say that I'm going to get every single fucking booster that comes out. If there's going to be a fourth booster, which has been rumored for COVID, I am going to get it, and I'm going to get a fifth one if needed before fucking
I'm
going
so
to the shit.
I thought
glad.
they were saying that a fourth shot was having negative.
Four Shot was having also they've done it pretty. What I've heard is that it's kind of they've been doing it more relatively quickly between because they're like, oh well, like now we can anticipate what like the minimum amount of time between shots you're supposed to have, and they are like 2 minimum. It actually this fourth shot isn't helping that much. So
Yeah, so I mean, when they figure
it'll
out
wear off over
what-
time, so that you'll probably have to get another booster eventually. but,
Right,
like,
exactly. And if that happens
Yeah,
also,
before the show,
you
then
you know,
I'm
you
gonna
get new
it.
you get new stronger batch of vaccine, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The
So
good stuff.
I'm going to do that.
The
I'm just
Ooh.
gonna inject four.
Yeah,
more
I
into
hope
this.
that nothing bad happens. It's likely that something bad is going to happen. But even if this whole show gets fucking canceled, we just get to spend a weekend in Vegas, and I'll just keep my mask on inside the casinos.
Where you will also inevitably
Get COVID and die.
Yeah,
Like- It's not the festival so
lose-lose.
much as Vegas.
Guys, he wants to go see the Hyperloop. Don't blame him. He wants to
Oh
see-
yeah, the fucking
Shit,
best
let me-
invention
civil
of
engineering.
mankind.
let me
God
get stuck in a
bless.
traffic jam 60 feet under Las Vegas. That sounds like
No, you
fun.
can't get no traffic jams. There's
No
only
traffic
room-
jams.
Only
It's
room
only
for one car.
Teslas. I've never had a more prouder moment than being a citizen of the state of Virginia than when the Virginia state like transportation inspectors inspected that shit and they're like, this is literally one of the worst infrastructure projects we've ever seen. Like these are actual like fucking engineer motherfuckers being like,
this is garbage.
Elon, we have no other word to express this other than this is literally one of the worst infrastructure projects we've ever seen. This is us using the kind like civil engineering language we have to use.
He bought like a fucking tunnel borer and was like, let me make a tunnel company out of this.
But it's a bad tunnel.
Yeah, and isn't it like a shitty used tunnel borer as well? Which is like,
I don't know about the tunnel borer he
I thought the
bought.
tunnel boring technology was actually pretty good, but everything about the tunnel sucked ass.
Well, the problem is that they're
I
putting
don't know.
fucking
The
cars
problem
in
is
the
It was
tunnels.
just entirely too small.
the point is
I
Elon
guess you're
Musk is a
right.
fucking
If-
troglodyte clown.
This is true.
Yeah.
Many people are saying this.
Many people are saying
Many
this.
people, so many people, the most.
Sorry,
people.
I watch a streamer, and whenever I shouldn't have used it in this context because he does it whenever he's lying. But whenever he tells something he knows is blatantly untrue, he just goes, "Many people are saying this."
Right, because that was
You have to
fucking
understand.
Trumpism.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so funny. Man, I hate Elon Musk. I hope that guy also gets the guillotine. This is me. Remember
In
earlier
Minecraft.
when I was
This
saying
This is
in
me
Minecraft,
joking. This is
This is
my
me
genuine
also
thoughts
saying
right
in
now live
Minecraft.
on camera.
but
No,
would-
this is where you don't say a but, Jacob, because then you get in trouble, and then
what I'm saying is,
No one
is
watches this.
yeah,
I'd be
well.
very interested to see. Look, someone's going to dig this up. I'm going to be working for some fucking contractor,
You're gonna
and
work
I'm
with
going to
a
be
field
like,
guide
I don't
or
think that
something.
companies should exist. And then
Someone
someone's
may
going to dig up
already
my
be,
past where I
considering
said
I'm currently under a background check.
that they should guillotine Elon Musk in Minecraft.
I don't think we're allowed to be in the same room, Jay.
Good thing it's over
Look,
Discord.
you guys, I've used the in Minecraft very liberally over the last several months of being
Yeah.
like, I will have a conversation entirely with my friend and I'll be like, we really got to put this one in Minecraft. This chat goes in the Minecraft channel only.
I'm loving just imagining
The
now how like
appending
terrorist
flipping
organizations use PSN to share like plot messages, and now it's just people using the Minecraft channel on a Discord server to talk about overthrowing the government. It's like, it's in Minecraft. It's not real, all right?
It's,
you can't.
we're talking about
you
in
can't take me
Minecraft.
to court
We're being
on this.
sarcastic. We're being sarcastic. Hey, look, I'm white, so this excuse works. I was being sarcastic.
point.
It was just a joke, guy. Why can't you,
Officer, I have a concealed carry
snowflakes? Yo, you
And
hear
a
about
gun.
that? Sorry, I'm gonna pull up an article. You hear about that lady who be like, I'm in a school board meeting. You're making my kid wear a mask. I'll see you on Monday. I'm bringing all my guns.
I did hear about that.
What?
What?
Can
Oh
you
my
link
God,
that
yeah.
article, please?
They were, yeah.
Please, I'm begging you. What the
I'm
fuck?
pretty sure it's Virginia woman.
This absolutely
charge.
feels like something that would come out of my head.
Southern woman. I think
Here we go. Here's the Guardian article. She only really got charged because everyone found out about it. But shh.
I
The
mean,
justice system works. I swear.
if you say it at a whole school board meeting with like that many people in attendance, I'm assuming it's going to get out. Like, why would
one
they
watches
all?
school board
Why would
meetings.
all of them decide to?
Oh, this is an Axios. Hold on, let me find. Where's the? It literally sent me to X. It had the Guardian up first, and then it sent me to an Axios article.
actually
the-
a bad
the
news
guard-
site or something.
I just don't like Axios as much. I also think I posted it in food porn by accident. Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Delete.
Buy that channel.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Every gun.
Bring every gun. Damn, that's a lot of guns. I need to register
Yes.
to keep reading.
damn.
Terrible.
At a Tuesday
She rolled
meeting.
up with the entirety
I
of
love that
NATO.
they just cut her off at the 3 minutes.
Yes.
Get fucked.
At the Thursday meeting, Amelia Ruffner King, I will say her full name out loud, 42, I will say her age, told school members,
I
no
will say her
mask
social
mandates.
security
My
number."
children will not come to school on Monday with masks on. That's not happening. She continued, and I will bring every single loaded gun and ready to, I will, before she cut off. 3 minutes, a school official said. That's 3 minutes, a school official said.
Wow!
You'll
The
note that it apparently
dramatic
worked.
timing.
And she contacted law enforcement to apologize.
Yes, she,
They
yes,
voted
I
to
was going to
do
bring that
optional
up.
masking.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh my fucking
I know.
God.
That's
I guess
because-
the article doesn't clarify if they were already gonna
That-
do
well,
that or
also,
not.
you have to
I would assume
understand
they were, but
You, as someone who lives in, I lived in Novo, but I'm also not that far from these quote unquote battleground
yeah.
counties where those counties were red for like 30 years, and now because of urban sprawl, a lot of liberals live there now, and so they're not as, gun toting, killing people type folk out there no more. And so I can say this: I'm from Virginia. I've met people who.
We
I know
get
that
it. You're
many
from
lovely
Virginia.
people from
You love
Virginia.
to jerk Virginia
One of my
off
friends,
while simultaneously shitting on it.
That's reasonable. Somebody
Look,
apparently
It's
accused-
literally those border counties have had this for the last year, where it's critical race theory or masks, and some parent shows up and says, "I'm gonna kill all of you," and they go, "Fuck."
Man, that's a great point. Now we are terrified of you and going to go as
Anyway.
far away from what you were suggesting as possible. Also, go to jail.
lock my doors.
Thank you.
I wish.
Do not,
She's
do
also,
not,
there's no
Pasco,
way
do
she's
not
going
$200.
to jail. Yeah, they're not going to send her to jail, Nick. I don't know if you know this, Nick, but she's white and known in the community.
Fuck! Shit!
God
But
damn
she
it.
threatened to kill all their children! What the fuck?
They only
Darn it, we'll get them next week.
After the initial incident, they only increased police security at the school, and only later did the police charge her and release her on $5,000 bond,
I feel like
which
5,000
is very low for saying I'm going to shoot up. a school.
yeah.
I can't. I know it's always a fucking like pipe or not. It's foolish to try to get into the minds of these fucking psychos. But like, what was she imagining she was going to do? Was she going to
My
go
way
into
or the
school
highway? That's all
and
you
then
need to know.
and then shoot like the
I don't think she
principals?
shot that far.
And then
I'm gonna be
like,
real with you.
and
Yes,
then be
Jack-
like, don't
Jack
worry,
is
kids.
Jack
Don't
is
worry,
correct.
kids. I'm liberating you from this fucking Fauci state. All right. Don't
Yes,
worry about
Nick-
the woman with the loaded guns
Nick,
walking around
Dr.
school.
If she
Fauci.
went through that, that would be her actual thinking.
You've already
She
thought
would
more.
shoot if there was someone who was actually nuts enough to do this.
Yes.
They would shoot administrative officials and teachers, believing they are liberating children.
Yeah.
This is how fascism
literally.
works, Nick.
Yikes.
Anyway,
I hate
the
to see it.
superintendent was against that change from them moving to temporary masking, but it also doesn't help that the governor was like, you can't have mask mandate in school because we just elected a Republican governor because a bunch of white moms in not in suburban, which is now suburban Virginia, which is more of the exurb areas of Virginia. We're like, what if Timmy learns about black people? Oh no. And
He's
voted
only
for a
allowed to see
Republican
like
governor
5 of them in the course
that
of
their
his
kids
life.
could
He
die
can't
in
learn
school.
about them.
Unironically, these parents voted for their kids to die in school, and if they do die in school, I
It's
will
on
feel
them.
bad for the kids, but I
Yeah.
will not feel bad for the parents. This is me unironically saying this. This is not in Minecraft. This is me saying this,
This is not.
for
This is
real.
not a threat against people. So this is
I-
fine.
I stand in solidarity.
Those
with that
people
statement.
will deserve it. I am genuinely at the
solidarity
point
with
where
Minecraft.
I do feel bad that there are a lot of misinformed people who are dying for no reason at all because they're being tricked by a conservative media apparatus that is very good at stirring up controversy by using hate speech in order to rally certain groups against each other.
Yeah.
But to some extent, there is still some blame because
But there's still
there are people who
there's still
there
a-
are
a
people who are
faculty
able to
of,
figure it out.
like
There are people who are able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I understand it's a hard, long process and you have to look at yourself, but there are people who figure it out. And if you kill yourself, I'm gonna feel bad about the society that did that.
To
but
put
there
it
is some
simply, you have
extent
been
on you.
Herman Cain pilled.
You have gotten the Herman
They have
Cain
played
award.
us for
Yeah.
fools.
You've gotten the
And
award.
like I
Every
hate
step
saying
of the
this.
way.
I genuinely hate saying this because like as someone who's kind of a leftist, I shouldn't say kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Like-
a little bit.
Just a wee
Like-
bit of
Very
leftist.
center left.
Like
of
I'm
you.
someone who believes in like the equality of all people, and I don't believe harm should ever fall upon another human being.
Yeah.
But it is very hard when society is literally telling you some of these people gonna get hurt because they are throwing themselves on a fire.
Well,
And also there are people literally leading them to a fire, and those people will not stop unless something happens.
well, it's like there's. So
I don't mean like physically even. I just
there-
mean like
no, but like
th-
there's
there
so
needs to be
many factors
consequences.
of this whole like rhetoric that just you look literally not even lower than surface deep, and you literally could just see them saying, well, if you're weak, you're just gonna die, and that's fine. But if you're just strong, then you don't die, and then that's fine. It's just like, that is literally the most boiled down version of eugenics you could possibly get to. You know?
Yeah, sorry, I'm posting a good video and
like,
I'm posting a good video and horsing around. It's 2.5. It's 2:15, but it's a very good video.
2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
Yes. 2
But
hours.
like, you know, so it's and
you said some trigger words that make me think of it, so I had to post it. So.
The problem, like, the thing is just like, the talking heads that are making this a freedom issue.
We have all been played for fools and pitted against each other on issues that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they don't matter, but they don't matter.
But yeah,
Not
and
nearly
the
as much as
thing,
the
like,
issues that we should be
I was
caring about
thinking about
anyways.
it the other day, and like, at the beginning of the pandemic, way less people were complaining about like having to put on a mask when walking into a store because,
Well,
you know,
at the beginning of the pandemic, we also thought this would be like a 6-month deal max.
right? But that's the thing.
We're now approaching
the
2
fact
years.
That it
I'm
mattered,
gonna kind of disagree with that statement.
It happened mattered.
I
is
would
the
say
problem.
before the pandemic, if someone walked in a store with a mask, no one would have said anything.
Yeah.
Once the pandemic happened and we said you should probably wear a mask when you go outside, that's as soon as you told someone
Then it became a
to
political
feel
issue.
slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's an entire ideology out there, prepackaged and designed to trick people to be like, oh, you're slightly uncomfortable. That's because they're oppressing you. And it's like, no, this is not what actual oppression is. And they're trying to literally keep you self-oppressed by doing this. Anyway, in movie news, so we can talk about things, I did watch The Matrix 1 for the first time, and I had become re-radicalized.
Fuck yeah.
It is very funny watching that movie and
Actually,
being like,
Red
I
Pill
do
is-
not understand how there are conservatives out there who think The Matrix is for them.
Because people just ran.
The
with
Matrix
Red Pill,
literally-
wake up.
Red
Yeah.
pill.
Yes.
That's the color of the Republicans.
all
I
anyone remembers.
understand that conservative ideology is all about diluting yourself into thinking that a statement you're making is true to what you're saying, but it is actually a lie and projection. But it is so funny that being red pilled is in the Matrix is literally being like, no, you're being oppressed by a system of hierarchical control that is imposed upon you by those with power.
Yeah.
And
It's not a
those with
subtle
power are blood-sucking parasites who run the corporations.
Yeah.
There's
Also-
literally nothing subtle about it.
Also, they are they go, anyone who is not assisting us in freeing humanity is a potential threat because they are docile and coerced into potentially being traitors of humanity itself. And you're
Coercion
like,
to submission.
I'm getting you know what, maybe that fucking Austrian German fucking
Yeah.
guy from the fucking 19th century maybe had a couple good ideas.
Heyo.
Good lord. Yeah. And then
Wrong
and, you know, also,
Austro-German.
on
You're
top
thinking
of
about
all
the
of
other.
that-
I'm thinking about the Austro-German who's named Karl Marx. Okay.
Thank you for specifying.
thank you for
because there are
clarifying.
there are two very different figures
I-
from Austria.
Several notable Austrians from the early 19th
Oh,
century.
Marx was purely German.
Early
Sorry.
20th
No, I shouldn't say purely German. Now that sounds like I'm going full Austrian. If you know what I mean.
Oh god. Yeah. And on top of all that, the red pill was also
Also, that's why I said that. That's why I
supposed to
said the
be
19th
transing your gender,
century.
which is
Sorry, what'd you say?
like the icing on top.
Talking about the red pill. As
Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
no, not only that, but literally you're watching that after knowing that the Wachowskis are like, oh yeah, I guess
Yeah,
the
it
Matrix is
checks
kind of about
out.
it being trans, and you like watch the movie and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, it kind of do be about that.
Like again, it's not subtle.
It's
It's a
really
post-trans
not.
allegory.
Neo is literally reborn after he finds out the truth about himself. Yes.
Yes. And
Someone
then-
tell
and fucking-
Morpheus says I can only tell you these things. The only person who can actually know these things and understand that these things are true is yourself accepting it.
Yes.
And you're like,
Right.
yes, all right, okay.
Mr. Smith constantly dead naming them as Mr. Anderson or Agent Smith, like
Yes.
yeah, is again not subtle at all. It's incredible how not subtle it is. But yeah, somehow
Anyway,
conservatives still
fucking
think that they're the ones that are being oppressed.
fucking power move when he's got Neo in a headlock and he refers to him as Mr. Anderson, and Neo just goes, "My name's Neo," and he fucking flips him, and you're like,
Hell yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
So good.
Anyway, that movie really does make you like.
And then they end on a
like,
fucking
Morpheus-
Rage Against the Machine
Morpheus
song,
says-
which is another group of, like, another pop culture entity that conservatives have taken and be like, oh, this is for us, right? And Rage Against the Machine
Yes.
is like, no.
Well, that's what was so funny about the 2016 election, where conservatives were like, "We're the new punk,"
my God.
and you're like, "I understand this is a trick to get like people who were into punk in the 2000s to think that conservatism is their ideology."
Yeah.
Like, I understand this is a trick,
Yeah.
but also like,
Also, like, there is a really
can you just think
weird-
about it for 2 seconds about how conservatism is the antithesis of punk, about how the entire punk movement was born out of
Hating the
how
conservative
corporatism is
status
destroying
quo.
our lives.
Yeah.
There is like a really weird, I guess, phenomenon is the right word, where people who were members of counterculture movements in their, I guess, relative youth grow up and become like the people that they would have rebelled against.
It's the same thing that happened in the 60s with the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Where the baby boomers were like, dude, we're all about freedom
Yeah.
and love. And then they grew up and
Woodstock.
were like, now I'm going to vote for Ronald Reagan
So
to
many
destroy the
fucking-
United States.
racist hippies. It's very
Hey,
weird.
look, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it for the 100th time on this podcast.
Yeah?
Electing Ronald Reagan has destroyed the United States, and I hope those motherfuckers are
I've never
happy.
heard you
I
say
don't
this
think Ronald
before.
Reagan fucked up California in all sorts of ways.
Yes.
And then he
for
was
a
like,
lot of reasons. And then
First California, then the U.S.
Yeah.
what's hilarious is that California is still fucked up from the Reagan years, and yet it's still like
They just
California
kinda,
was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore because Ronald Reagan destroyed our state. And now we live in a hellscape where the rest of the country has just never learned that lesson. Where they ever
Nobody has
The-
like
the
we
average
did
human
technically
being has
have
the memory
we
of,
all
like,
had Ronald
2
Reagan,
seconds.
but we
I
didn't
lived
really
in the
have
s-
Ronald Reagan.
I lived in the state of Virginia where 5 feet, not 5 feet, literally. I'm sorry. Watch out. He's lying. We've cornered him. 5 feet
Gotcha
from my
this
house.
time.
5 feet from my house. That a fucking insurrection happened. And then they're like, we should
Yeah.
vote for the party that supported the insurrection. And I'm like, are you guys actually
Obviously.
brain dead? Are you,
Yeah,
do you
of
guys
course.
suffer from mental deficiencies that have been unknown to science until this point? Like, what the fuck?
New discoveries made today. Oh,
I should just
God.
admit to myself that I'm not going to be able to run for public office because of the statements I say about people, but also to some extent, I like before
Dude,
2020.
there was a
before
there was a
2020, I was
senator-
someone who like had hope and was like, these people are radicalized, and it's gonna fucking take so hard, but we just gotta put in the work and be radicalizing these people. And all that's happened is that over time, I just get more and more radicalized to be like, we don't have any hope. We're the train is about to run off the cliff.
Jacob, on that
gotta-
thread,
we gotta
I would
figure
like to
something out.
remind you that there is a senator currently still sitting in office that literally posted a video online of his face
Yes.
superimposed on fucking Attack on Titan characters,
Yes.
killing
That's like
AOC
unironically
and
one
Joe
of the
Biden.
least weird things.
Right, but that's what
It's
I'm
not
saying.
weird,
is that
but
they
it's
could
so
say
funny.
they could do that
It's
shit.
fucking
So-
hilarious.
They could do that shit,
Yeah.
and they're basically pulling the equivalent of in Minecraft, but they're just doing it in real
Yeah.
life, and they're still in office.
In
So if
AOT.
I'm being quite honest, Jacob, you're probably fine. like, it's
No,
the
I
way things
understand
are
I'm
going,
fine.
You're probably fine.
Look,
if
me
you
and
wanted
my
to
friend
run
just
for public
look.
office.
I don't doom scroll because I have a healthy interaction with the internet and I don't have a Twitter
Wow,
account.
brag about
but
it.
I do fucking spiral every time me and my friend talk, where we're like, we'll just be having a casual conversation and then we'll mention something that capitalism has ruined, and then we fucking tumble
You're like,
down
"Oh,
for the
fuck."
next 3 hours. Where we're like, oh, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die, and we've all society in general has chosen that we should kill ourselves.
Jacob, I don't mean to misuse this term here, but that does sound to me like an echo chamber where you two just echo back and forth how bad things are until you're like, yeah, we're all gonna fucking die horrible deaths thanks to capitalism.
But the
I
difference
don't
is
think
correct.
is that
worse
However,
than
the
the
doom
difference
scrolling.
is then I go around and I think about the people I have to have fucking intellectual fucking disagreement with, And then I actually put my intellectual disagreements into, I do this thing called thinking through my ideology and changing my beliefs over time in order to better reflect the reality of the world and the evidence given to me. It's a very hard concept for some of these guys to fucking figure out. But
nobody's gonna watch this.
You mean your
episode.
worldview can change? What the
Want
fuck?
to listen to this.
I genuinely...
No one listens to it anyway!
Unironically, I genuinely can't wait for me to
I'm the one viewer, Nick.
attempt in the future to hopefully in my...
I'm gonna blackmail you.
I just one day I really want to do something that affects change, and one day in my trying to affect change, some corporate CEO does a hit piece on me and thereby digs up an episode of this podcast.
God,
That'd be the funniest
be so
fucking
good.
shit.
Homemade explosives.
It'd be so funny.
for legal
And
reasons.
that way,
this is a
that
joke.
way,
That was in Minecraft.
that way, I now have this clip for me to resurface by myself. And I can show them being like, I already knew this was
I knew it. I knew you were gonna do
I
this,
don't
you sick
care.
bastard. I knew
You
it.
activated my trap card.
Oh God.
Anyway, there's a great ContraPoints video before the 2020 election where she was telling people, I don't like Joe Biden, but please, Jesus fucking Christ, go vote
Nobody
for him.
likes
If you're
Joe Biden.
if you're a leftist who doesn't vote for Joe Biden and allows Donald Trump to get reelected, I'm gonna fucking go nuts on you. What the fuck?
Gotta go
And I'm
sicko
like,
mode.
I kind of
In
agree with that.
Minecraft.
And her main argument is
Ooh.
like, leftists on the internet really love going, ooh woo, the revolution. And then the people who actually have guns and are ready to storm the Capitol and enact the revolution are
Fascists.
Fascists.
anarcho-capitalist, fascist, Christian terrorist mobs
Yeah.
who have armed themselves to the teeth.
Yeah. So
But the left loves
unless
to
the
nurture
left is
itself
gonna
into
meet them
oblivion.
in stride, which it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen anytime soon. It's not feasible for us to keep fucking talking like that, and then
I mean,
and then at the
it
same
also
time
it also
complaining
doesn't
about Joe
it
Biden
also
and not
doesn't
voting
help
for
that
them.
it also doesn't help that the left already knows what's going to happen in that. Like the reason that the left can't do the same militaristic tactics as the right is because we live in a actual environment where the right is assumed to be militaristic.
But
Like the right is
has the
automatically
police.
assumed to be a militant mob,
Yeah.
and so that is their baseline normal. And if whenever the left tries to meet that, not even at the same level, this is why the Antifa shit is like fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Where Antifa, I don't know, I need to remember the stat.
Antifa's
but,
gonna
like,
come in and raid your
they-
homes and
they
make you learn
literally-
critical race
Antifa-
theory.
genuinely has an incredibly low body count because they don't intentionally kill people.
Yeah.
I think the stat I heard was like 3 people. Maybe I'm wrong, but once again, I don't know if you know this. There are literal right-wing militants who go around shooting up Walmarts
But
and all
Jacob,
that
the
shit.
Capitol riots was an Antifa psyop. Come on.
Oh my god!
Wake
Well,
up.
that's the thing. It's like
I
they
wish
know.
Antifa was that
But that's the
organized.
thing.
Right-wing extremists have killed 329 victims in the last 25 years, while Antifa members haven't killed any.
Okay,
Nice.
thank you, Jack.
Poggers.
What a
can, you,
stat.
can you post that in the
What a stat!
in the Discord?
Yeah, this is just a Business Insider article.
Cool.
And it is
because-
It is because whenever something violent happens, the atmosphere is in this country specifically is to say both sides are the same. It literally happened during the Black Lives Matter marches
Yeah.
where people were like, these sides are the same. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're not killing anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but when
One of
a
these sides
far-right
did not
militant
drive
shoots
a
up
truck through
a
crowd of
religious
protesters.
gathering or a gathering of protesters, they are also causing damage. I don't
Right.
know if you know that.
Which
I don't know if
again,
you can piece
it,
that
like,
together.
The whole
I live in the state where Charlottesville happened, guys.
is-
Like,
this
how,
is the whole
how am I
thing-
the only one who can piece this together? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about like a royal you who I'm getting
Yeah.
mad at
Yeah,
a
yeah.
societal group.
And the whole fucking thing conflating people with businesses, like
Yes, well, that's the other
fuck?
thing is this country literally believes. That's another argument I had with people who I would not bring up on this podcast for my own fucking sanity. But that is literally an argument I had to have with them, where I was like, "But corporations aren't individuals. And they're a business that is made up of individuals, sure, but a business is not a human being."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, no, that's like the same thing. If they're made up of individuals, then they are an individual." I'm
No.
like, "That's not how it works.
No.
That's not. I don't look at a fucking cadaver made up of different pieces that's lying there and I go, that's a single human being. That's
Right.
like that is I can pretend as a human being because my mind goes, I've put all these pieces together, and so therefore it is human.
Yeah.
But no, it is just an entity. I don't know if you know this, but entities and human beings are two different things.
Yeah.
What?
And again, it goes back to like the fact the other
Corporations
major,
don't have rights. Fuck
the
Citizens
major
United.
point
Sorry.
of like I think that is worth discussing is the fact that like right-wing militant groups are also sometimes backed by the fucking state, like by the police. Hello?
And
Yeah,
sometimes
they're-
they are the police.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
they
They are
over-
supported by, like, right-wing groups are by and large supportive of, and then also in return supported by fucking police authorities, and therefore
Don't you think-
they are going to be supported by the state de facto. And are not going to be as scrutinized as harshly as any left-wing group ever. Because the left-wing groups are at least like, hey, maybe the police should actually protect and serve. I know that's a crazy concept, and for some reason some judges were like, actually, they don't even need to do that. But like...
Qualified immunity.
I'm gonna put a Britannica
different from
article. I'm gonna
qualified
put a
immunity.
Britannica article in here that is completely unrelated to the topic that we
Yeah,
just said.
that's
I swear, it
crazy.
has nothing to do with what I said. With what was just said.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, look at that.
I-
Y'all
I
remember
think-
when
In no
federal
way
law
can you
enforcement
trace
just
the
abducted
creation
people
of
for fun?
most southern,
Wow.
well, not even
That
most
was really
southern,
cool.
most police units in this
Police.
country back to people who hunted slaves. You can't trace it back.
It's not possible. There's no way you can do it.
Unless
There's
someone
no way
were
you
to
can look it up
investigate
quite
that
easily.
and find out if that was true.
Minecraft.
I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. It's me, Tucker Carlson.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and like...
Anyway,
I
I'm very
think-
mad that there are literal people who just watch Fox News and have like no creative ability whatsoever. It's so sad. Anyway, I also just read Call of Cthulhu, and it's very funny how that book. I understand, despite the racism in that book, which I do not condone, there is a hilarious bit
He condones
where
the
literally they're like salt of the earth people just are incapable of thinking. Like they're talking about how a mass like mania phenomena happens in the book.
Mhm.
But when asked by like salt of the earth people, like people who don't care about investigating things or don't question anything about the reality in which they live in,
Yeah.
when asked about that mastodon, they're like, nothing happened. Like
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
like, nothing happened to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Because the joke is like anyone who is investigative with like artists being at the highest tier because they're investigative of like self-actualization,
Yeah.
feel it the most. And I'm like, man, this book's fucking hilarious, dude. They use the word salt of the earth to describe these people. It's so funny.
Yeah. I think...
I'm sorry. Look, this is now they're gonna bring up like, look at this East Coast elitist making fun of real Americans. I'm not making fun of you. You are being societally.
You're being carpetbagged
being
in the current
carpetbagged.
year.
Yes. You are literally, I hate to fucking jokerify you, living in a society that doesn't care about you and is trying to tell you what cares about you by making you think that your enemy is brown people.
Yeah. That's
Or whatever fake made up, or me, a guy with long hair
East
who
Coast
thinks that
liberals.
people should be treated equally.
Long hair and
Well,
pronouns.
you know,
When
as
imagine.
the
someone
song
tells you
goes-
the world's not fair, that is because the world has been designed to be unfair.
Yeah.
That
You
is
know,
not.
Jacob, as the song goes, if your hair is too long, there's sin in your heart.
That's
What-
not true. Jesus had
what's-
fucking long hair. I've seen the fucking fresco.
Shut up.
Yeah, but I mean, also Jesus was most likely black, and you never see that depicted, so maybe he didn't have.
Also,
What do you mean he was
also
Ewan
Jesus was a
McGregor?
Jew.
Sleeping
No
on
one
black
talks about that
Jesus.
either. So
What do you mean Jesus wasn't Ewan McGregor?
Jesus was circumcised.
I love that article of the fucking Jesus picture that's actually just Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was really
Anyway,
good.
I know we've talked about it before, but subtle racism is a recurring theme in a lot of Lovecraft's work.
Yeah.
Not on purpose,
What
just
do you
because he's
mean?
racist.
No.
What do you mean?
I mean-
subtle racism.
I don't know if you could say it's
What
not
do
on
you-
purpose. I feel like it is.
Literally-
I feel like at some level that was on
No,
purpose.
there's a
on
level of
purpose.
racism that is on purpose, and there's a level of racism that's not on purpose.
I don't.
Corporate wants you to find the difference
I
between
get-
these two
yeah.
pictures.
I don't.
Look, I'm someone who loves Lovecraftian lore. Not endorsing the person. I just like
Cat.
the idea of what if there were entities that are so like incomprehensible. It's literally someone
Literally
extrapolating
extra-dimensional.
on the cave narrative in Plato's Republic.
Yeah.
That's all Lovecraft is. Lovecraft
Mhm.
is you read Plato's Republic about how when you leave the cave, all there are these entities you literally cannot describe with the human capabilities.
Mhm.
And Lovecraft is like, yeah, but what if they were like fucking frightening as fuck? Like that's
What if they had
like what if you
tentacles?
escape the cave and you're like, dude, we shouldn't have escaped the cave. Outside the cave is really scary.
Yeah.
There's shit outside this game.
But then I feel like that does at some point become extremely tied to his extreme racism because we know that he thought that about any people that weren't white. Like,
yeah, the problem is that then you're reading that and you're like, wow, I kind of really enjoy what this guy is like going for here with this existential horror shit. And then he's like, the cults were worse than African voodoo, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
Jesus, dude, fucking calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you go like, this is a really interesting critique of like small town culture and the ability to
Yes.
become too embroiled in your local bullshit and forget that there's a world outside of you. And then you read the description of the monster and you go like, it's a Jew, isn't it? And the monster's
no.
Jewish.
Oh no!
I can't believe J.K. Rowling only read H.P. Lovecraft growing up. That's insane.
That was her only inspiration, only one.
Man.
One and only.
Fucking
When she was
Talking about conservatives who are
figuring out
really
Cho Chang,
dumb.
she was like, "I'm thinking of you, Lovecraft."
Speaking about
Shout out to my
conservatives who are
homie.
Hermione
who are
cat name.
really dumb. I can't believe, like, we've talked about this so often about, and I wouldn't say so often, but about, I don't know, about American conservatism
Mhm.
and like how fucking cringe it is.
Mhm.
But British conservatism is like
League's worse.
Well, they've had a couple.
Hilariously
They have a
cringe.
couple centuries up on us. You know, they've had a lot of time
Australia.
to
Like
cultivate their
the
conservatism.
I mean the main difference is that it's couched in different forms of racism.
Right. Yeah.
But it's still couched in racism, where like British shit is like this weird imperialistic dynasty shit where everyone wants to have sex with the queen and believes in like a hierarchical god order.
Dude, is the
A
queen
monarchy.
still alive? I thought she was like in the hospital.
Queen's still
or
alive.
something.
She is withdrawing from public eye from like the month of January, I think.
I see.
Anyway, also I really
Her
want to get
return
this.
coincides with the release of Jackass, I believe.
That's a dude.
Surprise
They're gonna
cameo.
shoot the queen out of a cannon.
Oh my god! Now that would be that would be a
Let me
finale to
find-
watch.
That would be an end
Jackass.
to.
I
That would be the end to
One
Jackass.
Queen
Jackass.
Elizabeth, and this is Jackass, and then they smash her with a giant mallet or something.
Kick her in the nuts.
Eviscerated.
They just fucking kill her straight up in
Well,
Jackass.
that's what they didn't talk about. Is the reason isn't like just regular health reasons, is that she was on a shoot for Jackass
Yes,
and she
yes,
got
and
injured.
she died.
She's like Steve-O.
She's just like, fuck it,
Now
man.
streaming on Amazon Prime
I've lived
Video.
a really good imperialist life. Now I'm ready to go out with a bang. Literally, shoot me on Jackass.
Dude,
This will be hilarious.
If you
No,
read
no.
some
She
of
just
the
takes like a
fucking-
sip of Bang energy, and she's gone.
I mean, look, I know I've already talked about how I think Spencer is probably one of my favorite movies of the year, but man, talk about movies that radicalized you against the fucking royal crown. That movie is like not even like about a real thing that happens, and you're like, why did anyone think this was a good idea? Why did anyone? Why? You guys have a monarchy?
Still?
You're telling me
In
that
the
you think
current
that
year?
you think that by divine blood right, this lady who gets paid like millions of dollars deserves that? Because one day God came down and said, "You're in charge of the Isles," and then he was like, "Yeah, I think I am."
I might as well be.
Shit.
on her fucking Wikipedia page, I just was scrolling through it. The last thing of note from like her ruling history is that there is a platinum jubilee coming up where
Yeah.
she will surpass Louis XIV of France as
Yes.
the longest reigning monarch of a sovereign
God save the
state
Queen.
in
Do you know,
God
do you know
save-
how long?
history.
Do you know
God
how
save the
long the
Queen.
Queen has been in power?
I mean, apparently she's gonna be in power longer than Louis XIV in a couple months.
Do you know what that Jubilee is for?
No.
It's for her
It's
70
50
years in
years,
power.
Yeah.
So do you know
that's
how long she's been ruling? 69 years.
Nice.
Let's go, baby.
Hell
The
yeah.
queen.
Cut it right there. No more. No
No
more.
more.
Yeah.
Well, that's why she
Actually,
needs to
you know
pass
what?
away
Go-
before this
go-
Jubilee comes up,
go
so
fuck
that she
the
could have
queen.
only had 69 ruling years in power.
Anyway, all I'm saying is that
The most legendary end to the British monarchy.
maybe like as much as I hate France, France kind of had it right during a short time during the revolution. They
Yeah.
pieced it together and they were like,
Well,
man, this is really fucking dumb. This
there's
is like a
there's
really
always,
dumb fucking system of government.
Well, there's always the dumb like rhetoric that we have in modern politics of like, oh, we gotta make sure the pendulum doesn't swing too far the other way. It's just like we are so
But what
far
if
on
it
the right
did?
side of the
The-
pendulum.
the
It's-
pendulum-
it is not
yeah.
coming back to the middle
The
anytime
pendulum
soon.
could stand
Like,
to
The
swing a
pendulum,
little
yeah, the
further.
pendulum going the other way would be kind of nice.
yeah, but what
The
I'm
pendulum going the other
You know,
way.
for once.
but what I'm
would be
saying is that
kinda
this is
nice.
one of the scenarios where
All
you
I'm
can
saying
legitimately argue.
is I love eating zombie meat in Minecraft when that zombie meat comes from someone who has a personal wealth of over, let's just go with like $1 trillion as like a hard cut.
Okay, look. All I'm going to say
no,
For
$1 trillion,
is
these
that
$1
legal
trillion-
reasons,
$1
this is
trillion's
all
too
a
high.
joke.
I
But
am
we
going
would
to
start
say
with those over $1
that
trillion.
I
Because
would
eventually
say
you're gonna run out of
that
those
in the French
trillionaires.
Revolution, you
The
could
three of them.
legitimately argue that the pendulum swung too far in the other direction when they started taking that guillotine and putting it to literally anybody. And then
guillotine
the
is-
guy,
That's-
and then
that's what
Robespierre
they-
made a
look.
fucking religion out of it, and he really shouldn't have done
Look,
that.
counterpoint. The Commune of Paris sounded fucking lit, and those fucking red bastards sold them like out, and I'm so fucking mad. The Commune of Paris sounded fucking rad. It was literally a bunch of like
God, stop.
conscripts who are like, we're not gonna fucking listen to you. We're literally defending Paris, and you're not doing jack shit.
Fuck off.
Is this-
Fuck off.
Are these
And
the
then they
people
create-
that ended the French Revolution or started it?
Yes.
No, this was mid one of the times that France was losing in a war, and Paris was under siege. And at some point,
1871. This is far past the French Revolution. Okay.
you say this is technically the second French Revolution.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
This is
Why
when
can't we just
Napoleon's
take over
nephew
a
was
major
being
city?
really dumb
Whose nephew?
and really bad. Napoleon's nephew.
Oh, lovely. What was he doing?
He was trying to be Napoleon,
Nice.
but he's like almost worse at it than Napoleon was.
Shocking.
Great.
Shocking.
Fantastic.
This
It's one
is
of those
also
things that I genuinely think couldn't happen today. Like you couldn't just storm a city.
it's very hard because of
Jack,
the
what
consolidation
happened
of,
on
it's
January
because of the
6th of last year?
consolidation of power and the divergence of materials between available to regular citizens and governments as a result of
Yeah.
Cold War arms race. That's why I get really mad when there are conservatives who are like, we need weapons in order to defend ourselves from the government. I'm like,
No,
dog, the government has nuclear weapons.
Your AR
You
isn't gonna do a
lose.
goddamn thing against a drone strike.
You-
Or even like
you
your local
lost.
town police department probably has a fucking military
Yes.
grade personnel carrier
It
that they can just roll down Main Street.
It is.
There
it
is
is
a
very
reason where the
funny-
primary civil wars that happened are in developing nations, not in the
and
developed
they're
world.
still funded by
yes,
external nations.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Also, that's
A
the thing
civil
that does.
war is simply not viable today.
This is
without
this is the
funding
this is
and
the exact
training.
argument I made, where a bunch of people were like even them will be like, well, don't you know that like, what about the American Revolution where a bunch of scrappy? I was like, do you remember the part of the American Revolution where in order to win, we got the assistance
literally,
of the second largest superpower at the time, the Kingdom of France?
Yeah, we literally got on our knees
Yeah.
and begged.
Yeah.
Like,
we went over to France and said,
pretty please.
haha, wouldn't it be funny if England got fucked over? And France was like, I
Yeah, it
do
would
love
be.
fucking over England.
It really.
That's
would be
fucking,
think it
I
would,
love
actually.
doing that.
Be kind of poggers.
Like even small civil wars today are funded and participants are trained by first or second world countries.
Yeah.
The American Civil War only happened on that scale at that time because it
Wait,
was a
are we
diverse
talking about
enough
the
thing.
Civil War now or the Revolutionary War?
I'm not talking about the
Revolutionary
Civil War.
Okay.
And also because you had actual military defections. That shit don't happen anymore because when you go, I'm not gonna when Lee goes, I'm not gonna participate in your war, I'm fighting for the other side. He doesn't get drone striked out of the air. He can go down to Virginia and be the leader of a traitorous cause and should never be remembered.
Yeah.
Other than as an example to be fucking flogged in the streets.
It is very humorous.
I can say this, I'm from Virginia.
It's very humorous when people look down on like the primitive technology of like rebel fighters in Afghanistan or whatever, or even terrorist groups like ISIS or whatever. But it's like, if you really thought for longer than like a minute on like if a US based militia tried to fight against the government, like, you would just get drone striked the same way that people in Afghanistan get drone striked every fucking day for the past 10 plus years. Yeah, it's not any different.
People forget that it's the insurgency that is the problem. It is when you're in a place that says, I don't want you here, and the entire civilian population becomes potential militants who are willing to kill anyone required. Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah. If you remember the other half of that, which is actual like regular armed conflict, if you're a superpower, you don't need to worry about that. The quote unquote war in Iraq was kind of short, but the Iraq war was very fucking long.
Yeah. Care to look at the history beyond our involvement in it. There was a fucking
I shouldn't say the war in Iraq. I should say the war against Saddam Hussein was kind of short. Yeah. The war in Iraq was very long.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing, again, like that point about insurgency of like every citizen. Like if every citizen in the United States was ready to rebel against the government, maybe there'd be a chance
not even
of that
every
happening.
citizens. You just need enough citizens.
Right, but that's not. But then when it comes down to the fact that it's just a bunch of fucking right-wing nut jobs that are like even if you took all conservatives, which is I would say still a little bit generous for like who would actually be ready to take up arms against the government if they really thought that fucking Fauci and Joe and Sleepy Joe were taking over everybody's lives. Like,
which they do.
Right, but like if they were ready
try
to
and kill the governor of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Was it Wisconsin? It was either Wisconsin or Minnesota. I can't remember.
If they formally declared that and like and they were like, we are going to war with the U.S. government, they just get fucking drone striked, and that would be terrifying for everybody involved. But that would simply
the bigger problem is that military organizations are typically lean more on the side of right-wing authoritarianism because authoritarianism kind of do be sometimes
if they were to
the business of the military.
If they were to write a fucking declaration of independence or whatever, because of course they fucking would, the U.S. government would probably have to respond to that with military action. I don't think they'd let that slide.
You say that, but remember that time when they stormed the U.S. Capitol and only one person died, which is insane to me. When I saw that,
it was also a cop. Right?
Dude, people are going to get shot.
Capitol.
They don't understand.
It was the woman who was trying to break through the door into.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And got shot by the cop.
Okay.
To some extent, do I feel bad that people die? Yes. As a leftist, I don't think anyone should die, and I feel like that she was probably radicalized by a right-wing authoritarian ecosystem that is designed to get you killed. But also, to some extent, you stormed the fucking U.S. Capitol. You're lucky only one person died. Yeah. To some extent, genuinely, you are really lucky only one person died.
While in session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing something objectively extremely important.
And now, of course, we know why that happened is because if this was a Black Lives Matter protest, a lot more people would have died. Oops, I said the quiet part out loud.
You're correct. That is absolutely
guys,
correct.
Why was the police response to January 6th so delayed?
Kind
of weird, right?
Very strange.
Big thinking?
Yeah. I think we also literally said basically the exact same things immediately after it happened last year.
I'm sure we did.
But look, it's
really I'm looking at
nothing has changed.
What's up, Jay?
I'm looking at the like causes of death for the people.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 people that died afterward. There were 3 police officers that died afterward.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of his injuries. Someone.
Of this article.
What's up?
Can you copy paste the text because it's getting
so I can
paywalled?
read it?
Oh yeah. I don't have a New York Times subscription, so I don't know how.
Neither do I.
And that's-
They give you a couple free.
Web
yeah.
archive. You can web archive a newspaper website.
You're right. Thank you. Or I could just make Jay post it.
Which I'm doing like a good little
Died of a
boy.
heart attack.
the,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's not even the best part. There was one of them died of a drug overdose. Apparently,
Oh, good
Miss
God.
Boylan's death was caused by an accidental overdose.
Well, there was also someone who literally got trampled to
Yes,
death.
This is
as-
the same
It-
woman, I think.
Yeah,
Was Roseanne Boylan
But
crushed?
this is the other, like, the hypocrisy just fucking reeks
yeah.
so bad when,
It's
or maybe
both.
hypocrisy is not
Yeah.
the right word, but there
Well,
is
because-
something.
because
she was
she-
crushed to death following an amphetamine overdose.
Yes, because she had amphetamines in her system and overexerted herself, and then she fucking fell down, and then she got trampled to death.
Yeah.
right.
But like, at least
That
one
sucks.
cop, like it looks
Yeah.
like 2 cops killed themselves after this attack, which is that's
Yeah.
a whole other situation. But the
Like
the
like that's-
officer Brian D. Sicknick, who's listed.
Oh,
in the
I
article,
forgot about
saying that
him.
He was attacked by the
Yes.
mob and died on January 7th. Like, I don't. How do you not realize? It's like people in police organizations who are sympathetic to these fucking rioters. Like, if your fucking end-all be-all is your brotherhood with your fellow man or woman in blue, like, how do you cope with the fact that these people are
Because they're
literally
one of
just gonna kill you?
because
Because
those
they're
who
on the wrong
because those who
Right.
because those who died were standing in the way.
Yeah.
It is an us in the fascistic sense.
Right,
You are
but
with
they
us
are- but
until
they are
you are
still-
against
they're,
us.
They're still signing up to defend the state and defend property. That is what
Yes,
the fucking
Nick,
police
because-
system is doing.
because-
Doesn't matter.
No, Nick, that's not what the police system is doing.
Well, it's not protecting people. It's protecting property. That is the distinction, and that is the major problem.
But
with modern
predominantly
policing.
a certain type of property, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A certain type of property owned by a certain person who they see as part of the in-group
Yeah,
Rather than part of
predominantly,
the out group.
Yeah.
rather than part of the out-group.
yeah. I don't know.
This is how fascism works.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting about how fascism works, especially living in a country where you're like, I think Weimar Germany is happening. You guys gonna do anything about it? And then like literally everyone older than the age of 30 is like, what? Stop being so like they're literally being like, why are you so negative all the time? Because I literally
negative Nancy.
you guys asked me to pay attention in history class towards especially that World War II section, and I paid attention to that World War II section, but it seems like you guys cared a lot more about like the war part. And I cared about a little bit about that thing about
Society.
how what happened, like why this fucking war that killed a
Right.
bunch of people happened. And it
Yeah.
kind of seems like
We're going down
when-
that path again.
when moderates in Weimar Germany said, we could side with the socialists, but they want like workers' rights, and that's kind of scary. I think we should side with this other party. Let me check this. Oh, Nazi party? They got to be
Big
the less
fan.
crazy of the two. And then all those people ended up getting shot.
By the Nazis. Who
By
would
the
thought?
Nazis.
Oops.
But
Wild.
it turns out when you vote for a fascist, the fascist will eventually find you as the out group because any
That's
potential
how fascism
threat.
works.
Yeah.
That's how fascism works. And then some fucking genius is going to be like, what about the Soviet Union? And I'll say the Soviet Union was a totalitarian communist state, which directly goes against Marxist teachings. Fucking read a book. I'm sorry I'm going to pull this card, but I literally, my degree is in economics, and most of my learned nature is in economic theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? Fucking.
I-
Well,
China's a
let's-
capitalist state pretending to be a communist state.
Yeah, it's a capitalist state cosplaying.
Marxism is
Russia
an
is a democrat, is a oligarchic state pretending to be a democracy.
Is it that Marxism is purely an economic theory, not actually a political theory, or is it the other way around? That Marxism
it's
is
that it's that Marxism is predominantly an economic theory, but it is political economics, which is a field that existed prior to the split between economics and political science, in which economics and political science were tied together, which I agree with this stance because I think everyone post that split who is like, economics is a hard science, fuck you. We're not some soft science bitch. We know what's up. I go, you guys are dumb and most likely businessmen posing as fucking scientists.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
what happened in the 80s when the Chicago School of Economics came into prominence. It was literally a bunch of businessmen making up fake fucking graphs about optimization, trying to convince you that, did you know that the most optimal society is one where companies are the most profitable? And you go, hey, wait a second, I don't think that's, and then they go, no. Anyway,
Just
Ronald
trust
Reagan's
me
in
on
charge, and he's put oil barons in charge of the EPA. And you're like, fuck, we're all going to die.
God damn it.
You know, the hardest science that I can think of in the world of economics is almost certainly the invisible hand of the free market. That is the hardest
Honestly.
science of all time. Truly.
Don't start on me
I
about the invisible hand of the
know
free
it was
market,
misused. I know.
where
Jacob,
people
you've
just go
talked
like,
about this
"It's the
before.
invisible
It is a
hand,"
misused
and
quote.
they just don't
all
know
right?
what it means. They just don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. They took the invisible hand thing out of context to then push all that shit that has ruined society.
Anyway, I hate that I have to be look. You know what makes? Sorry, I'm going to bring up John Maynard Keynes, and I'm going to remember that time a friend, someone I knew was like, "Did you know that John Maynard Keynes actually liked eugenics? Kind of problematic bunch." And I was like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Everybody.
Everyone liked you. It was
Jesus
the
Christ.
1930s. Everyone liked eugenics if they were white.
My favorite thing is the Planned Parenthood is bad. Actually, Margaret Sanger, eugenics. Yeah,
Which is also
right.
a lie.
it's not a lie.
Well, no, it is a twisting of what they were talking about to tie it to the eugenics movement of the time when it wasn't actually connected to the eugenics movement of the time.
What did they say?
Yes, that is more accurate.
Yes.
The claim that Margaret Sanger was kind of a fan of eugenics is not incorrect.
Yes.
But it's eugenics in a slightly more modern sense.
Yes.
Did you say modern or moderate? What is modern eugenics?
Modern.
Okay.
Modern.
I mean, I think there is a point of view. You could certainly claim certain forms of eugenics are more moderate.
I
mean,
guess
go like-
there
I would
are
like
less
to-
radical ways of implementing
Yeah.
eugenics than
You
other
can go
ways.
like, I would like to murder black people for eugenics reasons.
Jack
Yeah,
Sorrell
that would
2020.
be-
I
that
think
would
we
be
should
pretty radical.
sterilize black people. That is
Yes.
comparatively more moderate.
Jack
I
Sorrel
suppose.
2022.
Yeah.
I
also,
don't want
man,
anything I say
really
to
hope
ever
nobody
be
watches
quoted.
this episode and clips
Okay,
that.
but
It's only me.
anyway, I don't know. People are intentionally misformed, and most of the time they do know that they're intentionally misformed, and it is very aggravating because then they tell you are elitist for going and getting knowledge
Yeah.
in order to correct me. And I understand this is the defense mechanism in order to prevent you from having to question your reality because you're a salt of the earth person that didn't feel any of the tremors when Cthulhu woke up. But like Jesus fucking Christ, lady or man,
Wake
or
up.
non-binary person who votes Republican
Wake
for
up,
some reason,
All four of you.
everyone,
Dude,
and
get
Cthulhu.
some Milo's Stopalapagus fans
Fucking-
fucking
Christ.
out there at the Capitol.
Dude, if there's a Milo fan out there, I don't understand. Like,
I
even
forgot
within
about
conservative
him.
circles, Yiannopoulos was a fucking like thrown out in
Yeah.
like a hilarious way because it turns out that if you're a gay conservative, that they'll eat you alive because
What
then
a
it turns
concept.
out that you're actually a pedophile, and then you've confirmed conservative
Uh-oh.
fears about gay people all along.
Right.
What's he doing?
Are they actually a pedophile?
They admitted to touching an underage kid.
Yeah.
Ah! Wow!
Oh my god.
That is the ultimate self-fulfilling prophecy for fucking
They
conservatives. That's
admitted to
insane.
it. Well, the problem is that then conservatives are like, we think that there's a secret sex
Right.
cult
Well, that's
ring.
yeah.
And then Matt Gaetz is
awful.
like-
Others.
It is
Then,
awful
then
that
Matt
the
Gaetz has found out that he's in a secret sex cult ring, and they're
Nothing
like,
secret about
no.
Matt
Exactly. Donald Trump is found out to be with Jeffrey Epstein, and they're like, no, he was infiltrating. And you're like, dog.
He had a mic
Dog.
on, all right? He had a mic on. He's only keeping it to himself.
He
You know
was
because we're
right up. He's
investigating his
undercover.
taxes.
Don't worry.
You know what's
he's,
the
he's
worst
one of the
part
boys.
is that they're literally turn around and be like, yeah, well, what about the Clintons? And I'm like, what about the
Oh,
Clintons?
what about the Clintons?
No one likes the Clintons.
No one fucking likes the Clintons.
What's wrong with you?
Not even the Clintons like the Clintons.
No.
Well, it is
Are the
once a-
Clintons unbelievably corrupt? Yeah, probably.
It is once
Yes.
again the problem of
And
the
the
othering,
statement?
like hyperbole, where
Well, it's projecting.
Well,
It's-
no, but like they don't take a second to think about how we also suffer the same problems that they do when it comes to picking out their fucking candidates. Like
I would say we
for
don't suffer
presidential
the
elections.
exact same
Okay, not the
problems.
exact same, but similar problems where we fucking just have these primaries where the most vocal voices are the ones that are like, yeah, this one's fine, or like the people with the most money, which is this equates to vocality. So the fucking Hillary Clinton gets it in 2016 because we can't have socialist Bernie up there. That's not allowed. And then everybody else was just too weak to fight against the
three
insanity that
houses.
was Donald
He has
Trump.
3 houses, Nick.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Anyway,
Fire
there's
Emblem
something
Three
else I was
Houses.
gonna bring up about fucking elections now that you brought it up, but now I'm kind of veering off course because you said Fire Emblem Three Houses and you said Three Houses, and now I can't remember what I was
never
thinking
on
about.
course.
You want to talk about 3
I
houses,
wanna take
Jacob?
I'd like to take a moment to go haha to everyone who's invested in crypto because of the crypto crash that happened over the
shit's
past
so-
couple days.
Dude,
Hey,
wait.
look,
so-
if you want a video that is nothing but wow, I feel bad for these people, but also wow, these people are
Holy shit.
they've just
they're
been,
suckers. They are suckers. Quintessential textbook definition suckers.
Imagine falling for a snake oil salesman, but at the end you don't even get the bottle where the oil is in.
That's what happened. That's literally
That's what happened.
And
Oh,
what was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, something about NFT. Was it something about
shit. This is
NFTs?
brutal.
I've forgotten. Anyways,
Twitter NFTs probably.
we have just spent an hour spiraling in the same way that you seem to often spiral with your friend Jacob. So hope that was something for a podcast.
Yeah, it's
Woo,
awful.
horsing
Anyway,
around. It's just a silly
when
podcast.
America falls to fascism,
Horsing
we
around.
can most primarily blame Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. I know that a bunch of people online will say that
What's your
it's
plans?
all of the
What's your
Democratic,
fascism
all
plans?
Democrats' fault, even though there are literal Democrats out there who are literally like, yeah, like they're a corporatist in this party and they fucking suck. And the two biggest corporatists out there are the two who are literally voting for fascist policies.
The
They
coal
fucking
baron
suck.
and the trickster.
Yeah, the coal baron
trickster.
and the literal "give me bribe, please" lady. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it turns out the two biggest assholes in Congress are the primary reason that we're gonna all die. That's cool.
Wow, nice. Love
Anyway,
to see.
my final joke for this was going to be: this is the reason I want to get a PhD so that they know who to shoot first, and that way I can be out of this game early rather than have to suffer for long.
Leads into my next question. What are your post shit show plans? I'm gonna jump
Probably
off the Golden
move.
Gate Bridge.
Go for a nice swim.
I kind of wanted to do the socialist who lives in a cabin idea.
I
I
join you
can't
for
do
that?
that. Unfortunately.
Oh fuck!
That is not an option for me.
What if we make insulin by hand for you though?
There
Well,
was
the
somebody during World
insulin.
War II who kept himself alive in like Eastern Europe by extracting pig insulin.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Well,
shit.
on that amazing note, this has been a podcast.
We have a
I
good
hope
time
you
here.
enjoyed it. Please don't age in the fucking
Jack, I've
end
got
of
it.
this
It's
country.
so easy. What we'll do
Kill
is we'll
the
live in the
Baron in
woods
Minecraft.
and we'll do occasional raiding parties, but we have to choose a different spot every time.
I
because
love
then we'll
Red
live.
Dawn.
My favorite thing is
This
that
goes
Red Dawn
back to
is
my theory about Red Dawn being the real American dream.
I mean, it is. It's
Yes.
definitely a bunch of people being like, "Oh yes, please! All our fantasies about the commies invading are
Yeah.
true. Now we get to fight."
sorry.
I told that to
It's-
someone a couple weeks ago, and they told me it was a very contentious movie in their family
God.
because apparently
no.
half of their family is fucking Cuban.
That's so funny. That's so funny, dude. I love Florida conservatives. I love
they're,
Florida
they're a
conservatives.
special
Right,
breed.
the political opinions of Cubans make a lot of sense when you realize they're the Cubans who left Cuba.
But it's you just say the word socialist and they're like, I guess it must be socialism. We gotta stop it. Everyone hands on deck. And you're like, you didn't even
You didn't think
try.
critically about this for 1 second, did you?
You didn't even try.
Well, that's the
dude.
beauty of McCarthyism, right? That's literally it. That's
Anyway, I don't agree with what Fidel Castro did. There's a lot of Fidel Castro, very problematic leader in my
Use
opinion.
you. He
But the
raised
cows.
he raised
But did
such
you know that
good
there-
cows.
Did you know that there is universal healthcare in Cuba, and there's not universal healthcare in the United
Didn't
States.
Cuba pump out a really good COVID vaccine really fast?
No, Jay. Cuba's a failed state.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Oh god.
And no one can
Anyways,
convince me otherwise.
thank you guys so much for watching. Stay
Anyway,
safe
it's very
out
funny
there.
when people talk about Cuba like it's
And
North
until
Korea
next
when it's
time.
literally not North Korea.
Jacob,
That's my
I'm
final thought.
trying to end the show. We have spent so
And
much
Anyway,
How
did you
wild,
know?
how
Did you know that?
wild.
Did you know insulin is a hormone that is made from beta cells? So that means we
I
can
did
just
know
use
that,
Nick for your
unfortunately.
insulin check.
All right. Till next time,
Heyo.
fucking peace out. God fucking damn it.